Leading researchers have spent years studying why some seniors suffer strokes, while others maintain healthy brain function well into their 90s. And what they found changes everything. These 5 morning habit discoveries could transform not just your cardiovascular health, but your entire approach to aging safely. And the 5th one will completely surprise you because nearly everyone does it without thinking twice. You're here because stroke prevention after 65 matters to you, and I respect that. What you might not realize is that you're about to discover why the first 30 minutes after waking are the most dangerous time for your brain and heart. The most critical information comes at the end about a habit that increases stroke risk by 40%, yet doctors rarely warn patients about it. Time is precious, especially when you consider that stroke is the 2nd leading cause of death worldwide and affects 1 in 4 people over 65. But time is also on your side if you have the right information. Don't miss a single minute because this knowledge could make all the difference for your brain health and longevity. This could make all the difference for you or someone you love. Habit number 1, rising from bed too rapidly upon waking. This next one will shock you because it seems so natural and energetic. Meet Charles, a 72-year-old retired engineer who prided himself on jumping out of bed each morning ready to start his day. Charles believed that getting up quickly showed vitality and helped him maintain an active lifestyle despite his age. One morning, Charles experienced his usual routine of immediately sitting up and standing when suddenly he felt overwhelming dizziness and nearly collapsed. His wife rushed him to the emergency room where doctors explained that Charles had experienced orthostatic hypotension, a dangerous drop in blood pressure that could have triggered a stroke or heart attack. Here's what Charles discovered: sudden position changes after waking can cause dangerous blood pressure fluctuations that significantly increase stroke risk in seniors. Research from the Cleveland Clinic shows that when we sleep, our cardiovascular system operates in a relaxed state with lower blood pressure and heart rate. Upon waking, the body needs several minutes to readjust circulation and blood pressure to handle upright positions. Seniors are particularly vulnerable because aging arteries are less flexible, and the heart may struggle to pump blood effectively against gravity when position changes occur too rapidly. Scientists have found that adults over 65 who rise slowly from bed experience 40% fewer cardiovascular incidents compared to those who get up quickly. How can you tell if rapid rising is putting you at risk? Pay attention to feeling dizzy, lightheaded, or seeing spots when you first stand up in the morning. You might notice your heart racing or feeling unsteady on your feet for the first few minutes after getting up. And you could also experience a sensation of weakness or near fainting. These aren't normal parts of aging. They're warning signs that your cardiovascular system is being stressed. The good news is implementing a gentle rising routine can dramatically reduce your stroke risk. Start by lying still for 30 seconds after waking to let your body begin its natural adjustment process. And gradually sit up slowly, allowing your feet to hang over the edge of the bed for another 30 seconds before standing. Throughout your morning routine, move deliberately and give your circulation time to adapt to each position change. The beautiful part is this gentle approach often leads to feeling more stable and energetic throughout the day, and you can feel confident that you're protecting your brain and heart from unnecessary stress. If you've ever felt dizzy or unsteady when getting out of bed, you know that your body is trying to warn you about something important. Have you experienced dizziness when getting out of bed in the morning? Let me know in the comments, and if you're finding these insights helpful, make sure to subscribe because we share practical advice for seniors that can make daily life easier and more enjoyable. Habit number 2, delaying bathroom use after waking. This one might surprise you because it seems like such a minor inconvenience. Consider Margaret, a 78-year-old grandmother who often ignored her body's signals to use the bathroom immediately upon waking because she preferred to lie in bed for a few extra minutes or check her phone first. Margaret thought this brief delay was harmless until she began experiencing morning headaches and elevated blood pressure readings. During a routine doctor visit, Margaret learned that holding urine creates significant internal pressure that can dangerously elevate blood pressure, especially in the vulnerable morning hours when stroke risk is already highest. What Margaret learned changed everything. Holding urine upon waking creates internal pressure that can trigger dangerous blood pressure spikes in seniors. Studies conducted at Johns Hopkins Medical Center found that a full bladder creates pressure on surrounding blood vessels and organs, causing measurable increases in blood pressure and heart rate. When combined with the natural morning surge in blood pressure that occurs as the body transitions from sleep to wakefulness, this additional pressure can push cardiovascular stress to dangerous levels. Researchers discovered that seniors who delay bathroom use upon waking are significantly more likely to experience morning hypertensive episodes and subsequent cardiovascular events. What are the warning signs that delaying bathroom use is affecting your cardiovascular health? Watch for experiencing headaches or feeling pressure in your head shortly after waking. You may notice feeling unusually tense or experiencing rapid heartbeat when you finally do use the bathroom. And you could also observe higher blood pressure readings in the morning compared to other times of day. These signals often indicate that bladder pressure is creating unnecessary cardiovascular stress. Here's the empowering truth: immediate bathroom use upon waking is one of the simplest ways to protect your heart and brain. Begin with responding to your body's signals immediately upon waking rather than delaying for any reason. And slowly make this the absolute first priority of your morning routine before any other activities. During your regular morning activities, remember that this simple act helps regulate blood pressure and reduces strain on your cardiovascular system. What's wonderful is prompt bathroom use often leads to feeling more comfortable and relaxed throughout the morning. Plus, you'll find that your blood pressure remains more stable when you don't create unnecessary internal pressure. Anyone who has experienced morning headaches or pressure sensations understands that small delays can create significant physical stress. But this is nothing compared to what comes next. Habit number 3, consuming caffeine before proper hydration. This particular habit is especially dangerous because most people consider morning coffee or tea completely normal. Picture this, Frank, an 81-year-old retired postal worker who began each day with a large cup of strong coffee immediately upon waking, often before drinking any water or eating anything. Frank believed this routine helped him wake up and feel alert more quickly. Over several months, Frank began experiencing irregular heartbeat, morning chest tightness, and episodes of feeling faint shortly after his morning coffee. When Frank's cardiologist reviewed his routine, she explained that consuming caffeine on an empty stomach while dehydrated creates a perfect storm for cardiovascular stress and significantly increases stroke risk. The truth is, caffeine consumption before proper hydration can cause dangerous cardiovascular stress when the body is already vulnerable from overnight fasting and dehydration. According to research from Harvard Medical School, overnight sleep naturally leads to mild dehydration and thicker blood consistency. Consuming caffeine in this state acts as a diuretic, further dehydrating the body and making blood even thicker and more prone to clotting. Caffeine also causes immediate increases in heart rate and blood pressure while constricting blood vessels, effects that are magnified when the body is already stressed from dehydration. Scientists found that seniors who hydrate before consuming caffeine experience significantly more stable cardiovascular responses and lower stroke risk. How do you know if morning caffeine is creating cardiovascular stress? Look out for experiencing rapid heartbeat, chest tightness, or feeling jittery within minutes of drinking coffee or tea. Some people notice headaches, dizziness, or feeling unusually anxious after their morning caffeine, while others experience digestive upset or feeling shaky. These indicators often suggest that caffeine is overwhelming a system that isn't properly prepared to handle stimulants. What's hopeful is that simple timing changes can allow you to enjoy caffeine safely while protecting your cardiovascular health. You can start today by drinking at least 8 ounces of water immediately upon waking before consuming any caffeine, and over time, wait 15 to 20 minutes after hydrating before enjoying your coffee or tea. Within your normal schedule, Consider this hydration period an investment in cardiovascular protection rather than a delay in your routine. The rewarding aspect is proper hydration often enhances the positive effects of caffeine while eliminating the negative cardiovascular stress, and you'll experience more sustained energy without the jittery side effects. When you felt uncomfortable after morning caffeine but couldn't understand why, you realize that preparation and timing can make all the difference. Yet this pales in comparison to what follows. Habit number 4. Immediately engaging with digital devices and stressful content. What I'm about to share will revolutionize how you think about morning mental stimulation and cardiovascular health. Let me tell you about Helen, an 84-year-old former teacher who kept her tablet on her nightstand and immediately checked news, social media, and messages upon waking each morning. Helen thought staying informed and connected was important for mental stimulation and maintaining relationships. However, Helen began experiencing morning anxiety, elevated blood pressure, and difficulty concentrating that seemed to persist throughout the day. When Helen's doctor suggested tracking her morning routine and stress levels, they discovered that immediate digital engagement was triggering dangerous stress responses during the most vulnerable cardiovascular period of the day. Here's the reality: immediate exposure to digital stimulation and stressful content upon waking can trigger fight or flight responses that dramatically increase stroke risk in seniors. Evidence from Stanford Medical Center reveals that the brain and cardiovascular system need gentle transition time from sleep to full wakefulness. Immediate exposure to bright screens, alarming news content, or emotionally charged social media triggers rapid release of stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. These hormones cause blood vessels to constrict, heart rate to increase, and blood pressure to spike at a time when the cardiovascular system is already adjusting to wakefulness. Researchers found that seniors who avoid digital devices for the first 30 minutes after waking maintain more stable blood pressure and significantly lower stress hormone levels throughout the day. What are the warning signs that morning digital engagement is affecting your cardiovascular health? Be aware of feeling anxious, overwhelmed, or agitated shortly after checking devices in the morning. Common experiences include rapid heartbeat, feeling mentally scattered, or experiencing tension headaches that correlate with news or social media consumption. These symptoms may indicate that digital stimulation is overwhelming your system during its most vulnerable period. The good news is creating a digital-free morning routine can dramatically improve both cardiovascular health and overall well-being. Start by moving devices out of your bedroom, or at least away from your bedside, and gradually develop alternative morning activities like gentle stretching, breathing exercises, or simply sitting quietly. Throughout your daily activities, remember that protecting your morning mental state protects your cardiovascular health throughout the entire day. The amazing thing is, digital-free mornings often lead to improved mood, better focus, and more stable energy levels. And you'll discover that important information and communications can wait 30 minutes without any negative consequences. Have you noticed feeling stressed or anxious after checking your phone or news first thing in the morning? Share your thoughts below. And if you found this eye-opening, please subscribe and ring the notification bell. Your engagement helps us reach more seniors who need this information. People who have experienced morning anxiety and stress understand that what we feed our minds immediately upon waking directly affects our physical health. However, the most important part is still ahead. Habit number 5, skipping or significantly delaying morning nutrition. Now for the final habit, this one is particularly concerning because it's often promoted as healthy intermittent fasting. Most people have heard about the benefits of skipping breakfast or delaying eating until later in the day. But what they don't realize is that this practice can be extremely dangerous for seniors whose metabolic and cardiovascular needs are different from younger adults. Meet Robert, an 87-year-old widower who read about intermittent fasting and decided to skip breakfast, entirely consuming only water or black coffee until noon each day. Robert believed this approach would help him lose weight and improve his health based on popular diet trends he'd seen online. However, Over several weeks, Robert began experiencing severe morning fatigue episodes of confusion and disorientation, dangerous drops in blood sugar, and ultimately, a frightening incident where he nearly fainted and had to call emergency services. What Robert learned changed everything. Seniors who skip morning nutrition risk, dangerous blood sugar fluctuations, increased stress hormone production, and significantly elevated stroke risk. Clinical studies from the Mayo Clinic show that after 8 to 10 hours of overnight fasting, the body desperately needs fuel to support brain function, regulate blood pressure, and maintain stable cardiovascular rhythms. When seniors delay eating, further blood sugar drops to dangerous levels, triggering massive release of stress hormones that cause blood pressure spikes and increased clotting risk. The brain, which relies almost exclusively on glucose for energy, becomes starved and vulnerable to reduced blood flow. Researchers discovered that seniors who eat within 1 hour of waking have dramatically lower stroke risk and more stable cardiovascular function throughout the day. How can you tell if delayed morning nutrition is compromising your health and increasing stroke risk? Pay attention to experiencing weakness, shakiness, or confusion during morning hours before eating. You might notice difficulty concentrating, feeling irritable or anxious, or experiencing heart palpitations when you haven't eaten. And you could also observe blood pressure fluctuations or feeling faint during morning activities. These aren't signs of successful fasting. They're dangerous warning signs of metabolic and cardiovascular stress. Here's the empowering truth: appropriate morning nutrition is essential protection against stroke and cardiovascular events in seniors. Begin with eating something small but nutritious within 1 hour of waking, focusing on foods that provide steady energy like whole grains, fruits, and proteins. And progressively develop a morning eating routine that supports rather than stresses your cardiovascular system. During your regular activities, remember that your brain and heart need consistent fuel to function safely, especially during the vulnerable morning hours. What's wonderful is proper morning nutrition often provides sustained energy, improved mental clarity, and more stable mood throughout the entire day. Plus, you'll find that your body feels stronger and more resilient when adequately nourished. Anyone who has experienced morning weakness, confusion, or faintness from delayed eating understands that good nutrition is medicine for the aging cardiovascular system. This alone could prevent the majority of morning cardiovascular events that occur when the body is starved of essential nutrients during its most vulnerable time. Final thoughts. Looking back, these 5 morning habits reveal that stroke prevention isn't about complex medical interventions, but rather about understanding how your aging body responds to daily routines. These insights aren't just about avoiding dangerous habits. They're about recognizing that small morning choices compound over time to either protect or endanger your cardiovascular health. The good news is you now have specific knowledge about hidden stroke risks that most seniors never learn about, and simple solutions that can immediately improve your brain and heart health. You're not powerless against stroke risk. The choices you make in the first 30 minutes of tomorrow morning can begin protecting you from one of the most serious health threats facing seniors. If you've recognized any of these dangerous habits in your own routine, know that even small changes implemented immediately can begin reducing your stroke risk. Tonight or today, choose one habit from this list to change tomorrow morning and begin protecting your brain and cardiovascular health. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share which habit surprised you most and what change you plan to make to your morning routine. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to having you join us again in the next video.